welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands episode. Well, who knows what episode it is, because last week should have been episode 105. Let's get a little bit nerdy. Last week should have been 105. It was listed as 106, and this is going to be listed as 107. So 105 is just going to get lost in the mists of time, isn't it?
Or it could be uploaded on a private link, so who knows? Who knows what could happen to the mystery 105.
Like the lost episodes. Talk about that in years to come.
The mysterious episode, yes. But we're on a new number, new week. It's been a busy week this week.
Has it not been a bit? It has been absolutely, but we'll come to that in a minute, because Ollie and I have been working our little socks off this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I got a little bit ratty on Tuesday when I was doing some editing. But yeah, it's been manic. But Hannah and Catherine are going to be on the flight on Sunday night and should be back in the islands on Monday, although they'll be in quarantine obviously for 2 weeks. We better get... Well, your office is really quite tidy. This office is an absolute tip. I'm sorry, Hannah. It is. It's an absolute tip. There's just paper strewn everywhere. Packets of biscuits open.
That's a good sign, though. Good sign of busy.
It is, yeah. I need to clean up in here.
But it's funny because we've got two, for people that are not aware, we've got two offices. So if you walk, the two are very, very different at the moment. So if you walk into our office, it's clean, there's like a sparkle everywhere, nice fresh air coming in, which is a rarity.
And there is not.
And then now in this office, in the main office, it's a bit different. That's what it is.
It is a little bit. It is a little bit different, yeah.
But it shows that we've been busy. And,
we have indeed. So we've got quite a big show for you this week. I think we're knocking on 35 minutes. It was 43 minutes, but I've pulled out the single constituency piece that we did. So we looked into the single constituency because there's a referendum going to happen here on the 24th of September 2020. This is this year. You might be listening to this in like 4 years' time.
Who knows?
So there's a single constituency referendum on the 24th of September. So we just want it's split. I think it's split the MLAs. It's split the community, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we went to the public meeting. There was quite a few little topics addressed, but it's interesting because it was very minute. The last last referendum was in 2011, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in Stanley, it was 51% or so.
Yeah, it was something like 50%. 50% against it, 48. I don't know, 49 something.
So basically very minute. But then if you look at Camp, which is the surrounding area, that was 84, 74.
Yeah, 74 said no. 84 said no.
So there's got to be a massive shift. For it to pass, which would be quite interesting.
It's very interesting, and this piece is quite... I've had to cut it down. This is my greatest achievement this week, right, is that those MLAs were talking. I had 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and I've cut it down to 8 just by trimming them, because they just go off on tangents. And so I've trimmed them down to 8 minutes. And then I pulled it out completely because we were quite long this week, and I know next week's going to be pretty ghastly as well. So we pulled them out. But
we've got another part as well, a big passionate part from Richard Cockwell, who's our talking point man.
So the talking point will be out this week. I need to have a look at that actually. Oh, I didn't put that on the sticks, so that's got to go on the USB sticks because they're ready to go, and it also needs to be uploaded. On the Lighthouse. But just going back to the single constituency, so the problem is that not enough people stand for Camp when we do general elections. So in order to get people to stand for Camp, they've decided the easiest solution would be just to have one constituency rather than having Camp constituency and Stanley. Pros and cons of that, indeed, but there's alternatives as well to just going straight for a single constituency. So it will be very interesting, especially as this time there are a lot more. I think there's a lot more MLAs that are in favour of a single constituency, but it doesn't appear that the campers are that keen on it.
Well, the conversation's starting now that COVID's hopefully slowly drifting off the radar in the Falklands, and obviously now the referendum. You've got our piece going out, you've got other media outlets with their pieces as well, and talking to other people, using Facebook for loads of people are getting their opinions on Facebook about it.
They are indeed.
So it's starting to dominate the conversation, I think, and I hope it should do, because there's a lot of ins and outs, there's a lot of what ifs, and should we do this, should we do that, and it'd be interesting to see what becomes of it.
Yeah. So that's that, and then we've got Talking Point, as you said, as an extra programme this week, and Richard is talking to MLA Dr Barry Ellsby, who is chair of the Historic Buildings Committee, and Andrea Barlow, who obviously is in charge of the museum, and a guy called John Helliwell, who's did we put him down as a lighthouse enthusiast?
Yes.
I think that doesn't even begin to describe his dealings with lighthouses.
Very, very passionate. Very nice chap, to be fair. We did put him down as a lighthouse enthusiast, and so did Richard said he was a lighthouse enthusiast. But I think he was the chairman at one point of the Isle of Man of the
Lighthouse
Keepers Association.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, because I don't know if that's the official term.
You have to watch the piece, and then you'll know for sure. That's really nice. Plus the fact you can put some gorgeous shots of the lighthouse over the top of it, because you've been working on the drone, haven't you?
Yes, so we've managed to get the drone up, so I've been there a couple of times experimenting with it, because we've got this brand new one, the Phantom 4 Pro.
It might not be brand new when listener is listening to this. It might be 5 years from now, and it might be
Well, it's beautiful. It's an amazing little machine. It's good, and especially when the wind was quite wasn't too strong, so it was nice just to take it out, do a little fly around of the lighthouse, and get a really, really nice landscape shot. But I also, thank you to the museum, I also was allowed to go in the lighthouse itself and see some of the interior of it.
Now, how big is that key for the lighthouse?
The key's huge, but the door's really, really thick, isn't it? And the lock as well.
So the key is about a foot long, isn't it? It's a really massive key.
It's quite big, yeah.
I think that when the drama group next to a murder mystery, murder dinner, the weapon should be the lighthouse key.
Ah.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. No, it is a hefty key, and the lock's quite big as well. But when you go in, it's quite eerie when you go in, because obviously it was a major part of Falklands heritage. It's one of the oldest buildings in the Falklands.
Yeah.
And when you get up to the top as well, you can't go out into the balcony anymore, because it would just disintegrate.
I've been out on the balcony.
The smile there.
Yeah, we filmed some links. I think it's like episode 30. Mark and I went up to the top of the lighthouse on the balcony, and I hated it. I hated every single minute of it, because I'm not good with heights. And we filmed it up there. That was before it got so rusty. My goodness, now, I mean, if you lean on that, you'd be
it's going straight through.
You'd be gone, wouldn't you?
But it's owned by the turkey vultures now on that balcony. But what's interesting is when you get up to the top, there's sand everywhere. And it's quite interesting, because where would you get? Obviously, might get sand from the beach, but how's it got up there?
Yeah.
And you look up, and there's a lot of holes, unfortunately, now in the iron cast. And I think that's the big importance of this talking point, because this thinking of revenerating it, or trying to improve it, because it does look quite weary at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be such a shame. I mean, they need to. The Trinity House report, which I think came out, was it a few years ago, said you've got to do something about it. And the thing is, if they keep on talking about it, it's going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to. It's going to be too expensive to do anything like the Lady Elizabeth or Bodie Creek Bridge.
Which was mentioned as well in the talking point, but it is. I quite like it. Good episode with the in the museum as well. So it was, and that was my first talking point I ever filmed. So that was a big occasion for me as well.
Oh right, okay, yeah. We got the big cameras out, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Got the big proper, we're proper people cameras.
Yes, no, it was good. I enjoyed it, and it adds a bit extra to our programme this week as well.
So you're sitting there with this book that I gave you, which is the did we talk about it last week? It's the Falkland Islands Museum Diary from 2009, and the museum used to produce this diary each year with some fascinating historical facts about the Falkland Islands. So what are we looking at coming up this week? So Monday, Well, actually, this last week just gone then, so Monday the 7th. Have you got anything on for that week?
Well, it's interesting because I now refer to it as the Book of All Knowledge.
Oh, okay.
And it's in front. It's got Paula, do not throw away. So, and
yeah,
it's
not
now
Paula, do not throw away, but Paula, as in it belongs
It
to
belongs
me,
to
and
Paula,
do
yeah.
not throw away. Because I actually had 3 copies of it.
Oh, okay.
And I think somebody at some point having a clear out has gone, oh, that's a 2009 diary, and chucked it. So Richard very kindly gave me that one, and that's why I had to write on it, do not throw it away.
Oh, well, I mean, this week there's quite a few bits, but did you know this? In 1915, the first steel ship to be built in the Falklands was launched, and it was called the Iron Lighter, and
it was built in the Falklands.
Yeah, and it was used to move coal to the Canberra.
Oh, really?
That was so that was the same time as the Canberra Railway.
So where would that be then?
I couldn't tell you that. There's only one sentence on it. I could try and find out though about
it'd be
this
nice
one.
to know where they made these ships.
And the Iron Lighter, yeah. So that was the first steel ship. Sorry.
Yeah.
At the same time as the Canberra Railway, which that piece is up on YouTube as well.
Absolutely, that was last week. You did that piece on Canberra.
Yeah, and that was inspired by this book. So.
I feel we're going to get a lot of this. Anything else this week that's interesting?
There's a few bits and bobs, obviously, to do with other historical periods. But next week will be quite interesting. It is, I mean, this isn't history, but on the 18th of September, it's Chile National Day.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, there'll be a Government House reception for that. It's also Katie's birthday, Katie Beattie's birthday. He used to work for us, so I think we ought to put together some of her bloopery things.
Do an animation as well.
Reading the news and whack that up on Facebook for her. Anyway, we haven't got a lot going on this weekend. You've got football to film, haven't you?
Yep. So we're on. This is the big one now for the sporting people that listen.
Stephen, who listens. Yeah.
Big games this Saturday because it is first versus second, and there's only 1 point difference between them both, meaning that the winner could or are in the driving seat for the final week of the Stanley Service Indoor Football League.
Okay.
So yeah, it's big game this Saturday.
Little round of applause, I think, for the animation. I think the animation.
Yeah, absolutely. Which Tom did.
It's fabulous that he's done that. Yeah.
And obviously I'm playing as well, so we're finally off the bottom of the league, which is good after a draw.
Okay.
So
who did you play for?
The good old team, Decor Dynamos, good team. Obviously we've had a bit of a bad run of form, but we managed to get a draw against top of the league last weekend. So we need to win again to stay off the bottom.
Oh, okay. I'm dying this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite times of the year. As you will know, I'm a member of the Spinners and Weavers Guild, and once a year they do this dyeing weekend, and it is a massive deal. They've got all these dyes that they've mixed and stuff. We've got microwaves to fix the stuff. We have to soak all that. So later on, I'll be going up to the FIDF hall to help them soak and measure tops ready for us to dye, and then basically you just spend the whole day dyeing, and at the end of it, you've got these gorgeously coloured stuff to sort of to move on with. I am very much looking forward to doing it. Very much. I haven't quite decided what colours I'm going to do at the moment.
What's your grand creme de la creme product at the end? Are you going to make?
No, you just come away with dyed tops, which I then can spin.
Oh, brilliant.
And then knit them, crochet them.
Because you've got your own little wheel and everything.
I have got my own little wheel. Yeah, I've got an Ashford Joy 2, which is one you can fold away, and it's actually got a backpack you can put it in. So theoretically, I could stick it in, go for a yump, sit down and do some spinning.
Spinning on the move.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be me. Talking of
cool.
yomping and talking of spinning, actually, we had somebody come in the office yesterday. People who live in the Falklands, we know that the fit guys and girls from MPA come down and they want a challenge, and they always go for the yomp from San Carlos to Stanley, which was done in '82, and it's the one they always go for, and that's great. And you know, but you're fit anyway. You're in the military, so you're going to be fit guys anyway. So it is a challenge, obviously, but when you think that the Gurkhas did it a few years back in 48 hours, then taking 4 days to do it, just the Gurkhas. If you want a real challenge, come to the Spinners and Weavers Guild and learn to spin. That's a challenge.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could give that a go as well, maybe, but...
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're in the military and you're coming down to the Falklands, we want to hear from you, because I think it would be a really good thing to do. We'll do a piece on that. You want a real challenge? Come and learn how to spin.
And I guess it's try something new as well, try something different. For them to give it a go, just to see how it goes. Obviously, you're really passionate about it as well, so that's good.
About it, yeah. Something else I'm passionate about, which is new to the not that new to the Falklands, is the drag documentary. Oh. So listeners of the podcast will know that I, in my spare time, am a drag king, and we did a massive show last year and the year before. And last year, FITV filmed it, so we filmed backstage, we filmed the rehearsals, we filmed getting ready, we filmed backstage on the night, and then we filmed front stage on the second night, and I've put it all together in one documentary. We interviewed all the drag stars as well, so that is going to come out in November, on November the 18th.
Can you give us an exclusive little sneak peek on Meanwhile in the Falklands on the documentary at all? Exclusive here on what it's about and what it.
Do you know what I've really enjoyed? I've really enjoyed putting it together. The people involved in it are all really enthusiastic about what they're doing. They all speak really well, and as I say, we've got loads of really good footage that FITV have filmed, and even FITV got involved in it. If you look in the, if you watch, they all came around to my house to get ready. And so we've got them all putting makeup on and stuff, and then in one shot you've got Hannah brushing one of the wigs for us, because we're getting to that stage where we need to get a move on, and so we've got her involved brushing a wig. But anyway, November the 18th is going to be, we've hired out the cinema, so we're going to show it at the cinema. £35 a ticket, 3-course meal. I think it'd be grand stuff.
Can't go wrong with that.
Grand stuff. So, looking at this week, Ollie and I were talking in the car earlier, because it has been exceptionally busy this week.
Yeah.
Not only have we got stuff on during the day, interview after interview, editing to do, but we've had things in the evening. There's been 3 Government House receptions this week. There's been a Czech presentation at Hillside in the evenings, and there's been football and other things on in the evenings as well for us to film. So it's been pretty hectic, and we were talking in the car about taking time for yourself and taking time for your mental health. It's all very well going to the gym and going for a run, but your mental health, you need to do something to relax. And you were saying about how you relax.
Yeah, I think it's quite important. Like the things that we do is really, is great. Speaking to people about what they're passionate about. But it's important to switch off and have that time to yourself where you can, focus on what you're doing, and then the following day you're back into FITV. You're back in. You're ready for the next day. And because it's been so busy, it's been sometimes a bit difficult, I guess, to see, because obviously we have Government House later. I'm not saying that Government House is bad, but
it's lovely.
We've had it in the evenings, and that's been quite difficult for us to kind of switch off. But the way I do deal with it is I play a lot of sport. As maybe the listener may be aware, I play short mat bowls and archery and football. And the way I do it is competitive sport. So that's the way I kind of have my time to myself, through competitive sport. But you do it differently, don't you?
I'm more creative. I like to either spin or knit, or play the guitar or ukulele. I mean, I don't play the piano so much anymore, but certainly playing the ukulele and just sitting there. And actually I did it in the week, because I thought, it's every single night, I haven't got time to do this. So I bought my ukulele in the other week, because when there was a time where I had when it's exporting or copying over stuff, I actually just switched off and played the ukulele. Sorry about that, got a little interruption there with a phone call. Yes, so earlier on in the week, talking about having very long days and stuff like that. You were out at the crack of dawn on Wednesday, which I find, when it's on the board, you think, oh gosh, I've got to get up at crack of dawn and do that. It wasn't too bad though.
No, so we're doing a few shots with this Scouts, MV Scouts.
This is a ship that comes in, listener.
Quite an important ship, that transports pretty much everything that we need to the Falklands. And it was coming in, and we wanted to get a nice drone shot of it. Is the right technical term berthing?
Yes, I used the word
parking.
I used the word parking, but I think somebody here who knew what they were talking about said it was berthing.
Well, there we go. I mean,
with an B-E-R-T-H.
But basically, it was coming into 5 pass, and now I'm a bit more confident with the drone, so I was going to fly it around and do a nice circle around with it. And we got some pretty nice shots, I think. Like I say, it was up quite early, but it was quite nice actually to get up at that time. And then once I finished that, it was about an hour. I had about 2 hours before we started work again at FITV, and I felt a bit more productive. So that's when I went to the lighthouse and took some shots there. So it was quite nice actually. It was quite
I do
nice
think it's quite funny that there's very little wind at that time in the morning, because later on that day it was actually quite blowing a hoolie, because I was trying to do my links for the single constituency piece, and my hair was just blowing all over the place, and in the end I was going to do it in lots of different places, and in the end we just found somewhere where we were sheltered from the wind and just did it there instead.
Well, that's why if you ever see my pieces to camera, I go to the Malvina House Hotel, sit inside and have a coffee.
Clever.
So I do it that
I'm
way.
outside, hair rushing. Actually, there is a continuity error this week on the programme in one of the court reports.
Let's see if they notice it.
Yeah, just watch my hands in the court report this week. But anyway, I think that's probably come to the end of our time here, because we it's nearly lunchtime, and we do need. Well, I need to clear up this room, get it ready for Monday. Anyway, listener, if you want to watch FITV, then you need to log on to fitv.co.fk and subscribe. It is only £60 a year. For FITV, and you get one programme every single week, plus these little bits and pieces that we do every so often. This is week 498 on the FITV thingy. So yeah, log on, subscribe. It'd be great to see you. If not, you can have a look at our Facebook page, FITV. Can't remember what that's called.
It's just FITV. Just be on that.
Follow us on Twitter. We don't do an awful lot on Twitter. I do sometimes. No. Instagram. Yeah, join us on Instagram, but Facebook is where we do most of our stuff.
There's a few packages on YouTube as well.
YouTube is brilliant, especially if you're looking at coming down to the Falklands and you're not sure what to expect. Go to our YouTube channel, because even if you're not interested in the subject that we're talking about, you'll be able to see what
it's like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have a few things on there, which is good.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. All right, guys. See you next week.
See you later.